Should trans women be considered as women? I believe trans women should be considered as women because the gender is not only biological. It also can be defined as the identity and the social context of a woman.
Yes, I disagree because a man is a person whose gender identity is male. Trans men have a male gender identity. Therefore, trans men are men, not a woman.
I think that is not only considered as biological. We can also define as how we see each others and how socially we consider others as a woman. It's not only taking into account the sex characteristics, it's also taking into account the female characteristic and how can you consider yourself.
I understand your point, but I think that it's important to know what is a woman biological. And a woman is a person that have a uterus and other things, and a man that who wants to be a woman, it's not a woman in a real way.
I understand what you're saying, but the biological sex only matters in the medical context, for example. But if you're taking into account the social life, it doesn't matter the biological aspect. So maybe for that reason, women can be considered as women in the social context, not only in the medicine.
Many trans men life, identity, and are socially recognized as men. Psychological and medical studies distinguish between biological sex and gender identity. In many social and legal contexts, trans men are treated as men. Therefore, it is reasonable to conclude that trans men are not women.
I think that many trans women live as women, identify as women, and speak as women, are socially recognized as a woman. In many legal and social aspects, they are also treated as a woman. So therefore, it is reasonable to conclude that the trans woman can be considered as a woman.
I don't know. I think that I don't support your opinion, but some people assigned female and peer consistently experience discomfort being identified as women and identify themselves as men.
I think that the argument is like not saying about like the biology disappears, so how we consider woman, transgender woman as woman. I think that is more like we have to understand that the gender functions are only social. That's not anything really important. We create that social functions to the sex characteristics of female or male. So it doesn't matter. It's only important how you identify yourself, and how others perceive you is not as important as your identity.
Okay, for a conclusion, I believe trans women should not be considered women because womanhood depends on biological sex and biological sex cannot be changed.
I think that the biological aspect is not as important as how you identify yourself. So I think that trans women should be considered as women. And also in many other contexts rather than in medicine is not important the biological gender.
Okay, thank you.